Donald Trump is absolutely spiraling right now after his own chief of staff, Susie Wiles, just turned against him in what might be the most devastating insider attack of his entire presidency. Vanity Fair just published a massive bombshell based on 11 interviews with Wiles, and what she revealed is absolutely catastrophic for Trump. She didn't just criticize Trump, she destroyed his entire inner circle. She said Trump has an alcoholic's personality. She said J.D. Vance has been a conspiracy theorist for a decade, and his switch from Trump hater to Trump lover was purely about politics because he wanted to win his Senate race. She called Elon Musk an avowed ketamine user and an odd duck whose actions made her feel sick. She called Russell Vought a right-wing absolute zealot. And she said Pam Bondi completely screwed up handling the Epstein files. But here's the biggest bombshell of all. Susie Wiles admitted on the record that Trump is all over the Epstein files. She confirmed Trump was on Epstein's plane. She confirmed Trump is on the manifest. And she described them as young single playboys together. I'll fact check all of that in a moment with the actual recordings, but first, you need to see just how devastating this interview is for Trump and why his own top person just exposed everything. But real quick, before we get into this, let's be honest. You can't really trust mainstream media anymore. That's why we built John Brown's Show to bring you real stories, real context, and no corporate spin. If you want to stay ahead of the headlines, please subscribe to our channel because you might think you are but aren't. Your subscription actually matters here. All right, let's get into what Susie Wiles just revealed because this is explosive. Now let me bring the receipts because we always back up what we say with hard facts. Vanity Fair did 11 separate interviews with Susie Wiles, Trump's chief of staff, and she said some absolutely brutal things about Donald Trump and his entire team. And when the New York Times contacted Vanity Fair asking whether Wiles actually said these things, the author said, "Here's the tape. I'll play it for you." So we have Wiles on tape saying all of this. This isn't rumors. This isn't anonymous sources. This is Trump's own chief of staff speaking on the record, and it's all recorded. Let's start with what Susie Wiles said about the Epstein files, because this is the most damning part. Wiles told Vanity Fair that she read what she calls the Epstein file. And here's exactly what she said, and I'm reading this directly. Trump is in the file, and we know he's in the file. She continued, "It's not doing anything awful, but he's on it. He was on Epstein's plane. He's on the manifest. They were sort of young, single, whatever. I know it's the P word, but sort of young single playboys together." Notice what Trump's own chief of staff just admitted. Trump is in the Epstein files. Trump was on Epstein's plane. Trump is on the flight manifest. And Wiles is describing Trump and Epstein as playboys together. That's coming directly from the person who works closest to Trump in the White House. And notice how she tried to make it sound better by saying, "It's not doing anything awful, but that doesn't matter. Being on Jeffrey Epstein's plane, being on the manifest, being called playboys together with a convicted sex trafficker, that's devastating no matter how you try to spin it." And here's what makes this even more crazy. Susie Wiles also said that Trump has been lying about Bill Clinton and the Epstein files. Trump has said over and over that Clinton went to Epstein's island 28 times. But Wiles said, and I'm reading directly, "There's zero evidence that Bill Clinton ever went to Little St. James, which is the island." She said Trump was wrong about that claim. So Trump's own chief of staff is admitting that Trump has been spreading lies about Clinton to take attention away from his own connections to Epstein. That is huge. That's Trump's top person saying Trump has been lying about the Epstein stuff. Now let's talk about what Susie Wiles said about Trump's personality, because this tells you a lot about what it's like working for him. Wiles said Trump has an alcoholic's personality. Now she said she doesn't mean Trump is an alcoholic. Trump famously doesn't drink alcohol, but that he has the personality traits of one. What does that mean? It means Trump acts like he can't control himself. It means Trump does things without thinking. It means Trump has the same kind of behavior you see in people with serious problems. That's Trump's own chief of staff saying he can't control himself, that he acts without thinking, that he has serious behavior problems. And then Wiles went after J.D. Vance. She said Vance has been a conspiracy theorist for a decade. Think about that. The vice president of the United States, according to Trump's own chief of staff, has been pushing conspiracy theories for 10 years. And Wiles said something even more damning about Vance. She said his change from being a Trump critic to being a Trump supporter wasn't based on principle, It wasn't because Vance actually changed his mind about Trump. It was purely political because Vance was running for Senate and needed Trump's support. So according to Susie Wiles, J.D. Vance doesn't actually believe in Trump. J.D. Vance is just a political opportunist who pretended to like Trump to win his election. That's brutal. That's Trump's own chief of staff saying the vice president is a fake who doesn't have real beliefs. And Wiles didn't stop there. She went after Elon Musk next. She called Elon Musk an avowed ketamine user. That means Musk openly admits to using ketamine, which is a drug. And Wiles called Musk an odd duck, which is a nice way of saying he's weird and doesn't act normal. But here's the really damning part. Wiles said Musk's actions were not always rational and left her aghast. That means Musk does things that don't make sense, and it makes Wiles feel shocked and horrified. So Trump's chief of staff is saying that one of Trump's closest advisors is a drug user who acts irrationally and does things that shock her. That is insane. And then Wiles went after Russell Vought, who runs Trump's Office of Management and Budget. She called him a right-wing absolute zealot. A zealot is someone who is so extreme in their beliefs that they can't be reasoned with. So Trump's chief of staff is saying one of Trump's top budget people is an extremist who can't think rationally. And finally, Wiles went after Pam Bondi, Trump's attorney general. Wiles said Bondi completely whiffed on handling the Epstein files. Whiffed means she completely screwed up. She failed. She messed it up badly. So according to Susie Wiles, the person in charge of releasing or hiding the Epstein files completely failed at her job. Now, after this article came out with all these quotes and the tape recordings to back it up, Susie Wiles started complaining. She said, "This was a hit piece. They took me out of context." But here's the problem with that defense. Vanity Fair has the tapes. They have 11 hours of interviews. They have Wiles saying all of this on the record. So when Wiles says I was taken out of context, we can listen to the actual recordings and hear exactly what she said. And what she said was devastating for Trump. But let's talk about what's happening in the real world while Trump's own team is turning against him, because the economic news is terrible. We just got new jobs numbers this morning, and the U.S. economy is officially in what's being called a hiring recession. As economist Heather Long explains, almost no jobs have been added since April. Wage gains are slowing down. 10,000 more people are unemployed now compared to November 2024. And while November showed a gain of 64,000 jobs, though that will probably be revised down later, October's numbers showed 105,000 job losses. Think about that. The economy lost 105,000 jobs in October. And Heather Long says she believes it's a combination of tariff impacts, AI, and cost cutting. Americans are feeling it. Take a look at the data. The U.S. economy has barely added any jobs at all since April. And what happened in April? That's when Donald Trump announced what he called Liberation Day with all his tariffs and threats. You can trace the economic decline directly to Trump's policies. Unemployment has now gone up to 4.6%, and the trends are heading in the wrong direction. Youth unemployment is at a cycle high of 10.6%. That means more than 1 in 10 young people can't find jobs. Manufacturing payrolls declined by 5,000 in November. That's the 7th consecutive month of manufacturing job losses. 7 months in a row of losing manufacturing jobs. And private payrolls in general, if you don't count education and health services, have all been negative on average. The only area that's helped private jobs is education and healthcare services. And guess what? Those are the exact areas that Trump and MAGA Republicans are attacking right now. So the only sectors creating jobs are the ones Trump wants to destroy. Everything else, job losses. And it's not just jobs. Electric bills are going up. Electric bills are expected to reach $17 billion total, marking the 3rd year in a row of record-breaking costs. And why? Because the fast building of data centers is adding billions of dollars to household electric bills. And now we have farmers demanding more bailouts. Montana Senator Steve Daines said the $12 billion assistance package is a good start, but it's not enough. Another bailout is needed because more farmers are going to go bankrupt. So we're bailing out farmers because Trump's trade wars are destroying them. We're seeing massive job losses. We're seeing unemployment rising. We're seeing electric bills skyrocketing. And what is J.D. Vance doing while all this is happening? J.D. Vance was in Allentown, Pennsylvania this morning trying to convince people that everything is fine. Pennsylvania Governor Shapiro called him out, saying, J.D. Vance is heading to Allentown this morning to try to convince Pennsylvanians that the rising prices, healthcare cuts, and chaotic trade wars hurting our farmers are just made up. And Governor Shapiro is right, because when a reporter asked J.D. Vance directly, President Trump gave the economy a grade of A++. What grade would you give it? You know what J.D. Vance said? He said A++. The economy is in a hiring recession, unemployment is rising, manufacturing jobs are disappearing, farmers are going bankrupt, and J.D. Vance gives it an A++. That's how disconnected these people are from reality. And then J.D. Vance had the nerve to say, nobody ever said we would fix this in a single day. But wait a minute. We have the receipts. We have Donald Trump on video saying exactly that. Trump campaigned saying, when I win, I will immediately bring down prices starting on day one. Immediately, day one. Those were Trump's exact words. We're now a year into Trump's term, and the economy is worse. Things are less affordable. Unemployment is higher. And J.D. Vance is trying to pretend Trump never promised to fix it immediately. But we have the video. We have Trump saying it over and over. When I win, I will immediately bring prices down starting on day one. We will drill, baby, drill. That's what Trump promised. And what have we gotten? Rising prices, rising unemployment, job losses, economic decline. But J.D. Vance wants you to know there's no person more impatient to solve the affordability crisis than Donald Trump. There's just nothing Trump can do about it, according to Vance. He can't control it. It's not his fault. But wait, Trump said he would fix it on day one. So which is it? Can Trump fix the economy immediately like he promised? Or can't he do anything about it like Vance is now claiming? The story keeps changing depending on what's convenient at the moment. And even Fox News, the network that usually defends Trump no matter what, is admitting this is bad. Fox is showing that things like government shutdowns and Doge have distorted the numbers, but at the end of the day, we need to create more jobs, and we're not. Fox is admitting that the industries creating jobs like healthcare are creating lower-paying jobs because they can't find skilled workers fast enough. Fox is saying there's a lot of cracks in the labor market. When even Fox News can't spin this into good news, you know things are terrible. So let's recap what we're dealing with here. Trump's own chief of staff, Susie Wiles, just went on the record admitting that Trump is all over the Epstein files. She confirmed Trump was on Epstein's plane. She confirmed Trump is on the manifest. She said Trump and Epstein were playboys together. She said Trump has an alcoholic's personality. She said J.D. Vance is a conspiracy theorist and a political opportunist with no real principles. She said Elon Musk is a ketamine user who acts irrationally. She said Russell Vought is an extremist zealot. She said Pam Bondi screwed up handling the Epstein files. And all of this is on tape. All of this is documented. All of this came from Trump's own top advisor. And while Trump's inner circle is falling apart and turning against him, the economy is collapsing. We're in a hiring recession. Unemployment is rising. Manufacturing jobs are disappearing. Farmers need more bailouts. Electric bills are skyrocketing. And Trump and Vance are standing there claiming everything is great and giving the economy an A++, while people are losing their jobs and struggling to pay their bills. Make sure you're subscribed to John Brown Show because we're going to keep tracking this story. We're going to keep exposing what Trump's own people are saying about him behind the scenes. We're going to keep documenting the economic decline under Trump's policies because this matters. This is Trump's own chief of staff turning against him. This is Trump's inner circle exposing him. This is the economy failing while Trump lies about how great everything is. Share this video with everyone you know because people need to see what's really happening. Trump's own top advisor just admitted he's in the Epstein files. Trump's own chief of staff just called out his entire team. And the economy is getting worse while Trump pretends everything is perfect. This story is far from over. Stay tuned.